Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not.
The Biden administration did not adequately plan for this.
It's a rational drawdown with our allies.
You hear criticism from the Brits, from Germany, from France. They feel that the rug was pulled out from under them.
We have no indication that they haven't been able to get in Kabul through the airport.
The president has said American passport holders are not having any trouble getting past the Taliban. That may be problematic. An awful lot of reports that is still very much a problem.
We are stranded at home. We can't get to the airport. When we try to get to the airport, we either get beaten up or we're afraid for our lives.
They're not letting anyone in. We are in huge danger and we need help.
Nobody wants the Saigon image, and obviously we ended up with another Saigon image.
Mr. Biden, you did this.
This looks like a disaster.
This has been a disaster.
Very much a disaster.
We are devastated. We're scared for our lives.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Grumpy Snail podcast here at SOB Studios with our host, me, the uncancelable Jonathan Snyder, here with another Rambly podcast. I got lots of things to do on the list for this weekend. This weekend is Labor Day weekend, so it's going to be busy for me. So I'm trying to. I guess I'm going to have to rush through this thing and get this stuff done because there's a bunch of stuff that I've got to do. And not enough time to do them in. So if you like these videos, go ahead and click that like button. As always, if you want to see more of these videos, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We put different types of videos out for different types of shows that we do here. And make sure you share these videos on all your social media platforms, or not. You don't have to. Do whatever you want. We here at SOB Studios do not do this for money. Do this for fun. That's right. We're just playing around. So let's get to the business, right? All right. So we're going to go ahead and start with Afghanistan. And I know what you're thinking. Jeez, it's been 20 years. We're done with it. Can't we just be done with Afghanistan? And the answer is no. We cannot be done with Afghanistan. Never forget the things that we're not supposed to forget. Whatever. So, so many things. So, this phone call was released that took place between President Biden and President Ghani, who was the Afghan president at the time, back in July. Now, we'll remember, as you may have saw in the intro, that back in July, Biden gave this speech where he talked about how the Afghani military was strong. They had 300,000 troops and at best, the Taliban only had 75,000, and they had all of our military strength, and there was no possible way that Afghanistan was going to fall to the Taliban in a very quick and unmatched fashion, like it did. And that's what we were told. That's what we were told by President Biden. But this leaked telephone call comes out where he's talking to the president of Afghanistan, and he's telling Ghani, "Hey, listen. Man, no joke. Like, you look terrible, okay? The Taliban's like taking over, and you gotta make it look like they're not, right? Okay, come on, man." And then he comes out and tells us that they're strong. There's no way the Taliban will come in and swoop it. So the Afghan government and military force was weak, okay? And the whole entire country of Afghanistan was being taken over by the Taliban piece by piece. And Biden told that president to lie. You gotta lie. You gotta lie because I'm gonna be lying, okay? And I can't be having other presidents make me look like the liar that I am. So you gotta lie to your people too, whether or not things are doing good, okay? I'm the president. And And Ghani's reply was like, yeah, but like the Taliban's kicking our ass, right? And you're supposed to be giving us this military air support, right? And all these contractors are supposed to be helping us. So, I mean, I guess if you help us, we'll be fine. And then Biden's response was, we're shutting down Bagram. And he yanked everybody out of there. So I don't understand how. I'm getting ahead of myself. So this phone call gets leaked, and then the media goes out and asks Jen Psaki, hey, what's the deal with this leaked phone call? And she's like, oh, there's a private conversation. We're not going to talk about private conversations unless they're about Donald Trump and Ukraine. We got to talk about those private leaked conversations. That's right, because Donald Trump, orange man bad, right? Orange man, not old senile President Houseplant bad. No, orange man bad. So, I mean, they're just hypocriting it up there in the White House. Not a big surprise these people don't know what hypocrites are. I mean, the left and these progressive nut job people really don't really care what the truth is or what they said yesterday. All that matters is what are the talking points today, and those are the ones we're going with. So, I mean, it's all a farce. The whole entire situation is a farce, and this country voted for these liars, these people we knew they were liars. Biden has been a liar for 50 years up there in the government, freaking ruining everything. I swear to God, I don't know how you don't see this stuff. And I don't even know what to think. It's crazy. All right, so that's not the end of the insanity. Also, oh man, I kind of lost where I was going. With that. Oh well. Anyway, so I mean that's not the end of all the lies and nonsense from President Joe My Boss Biden. There was this like Jewish thing that happened, right? And he's giving a speech about how he was at this thing and tried to tell a story about this song. You know the song, the thing with the chairs and just, come on, man, you know the thing. And that, of course, turned out to be a great big lie. And of course you don't know what I'm talking about. Joe Biden doesn't know what he's talking about. But he's up there making the big decisions, running the free world. I just don't know. I do not know about this. I don't know about the situation, except for the fact that we're probably screwed. I mean, their whole, and it's really weird because, so, Biden screws the whole entire Afghanistan pullout situation up, okay? He jacks it up. And so the media, who supports the whole military-industrial complex, kind of turns on him, right? They turn on Joe Biden. It's like, hey, you messed this up. But then, Joe Biden comes out and he's like, no, come on, man. We did a great job. We pulled off this extraction of so many people, and that's never been done before, man. I mean, come on. You should be thanking me because I'm President Joe Biden. You should be praising the job that we're doing here, in the White House. And so now we're at the point where the media's like, you know what? Maybe Joe Biden isn't all that bad. We need to calm down. Mr. Don Lemon came out. We need to ease up on Joe Biden. This was going to happen. There was no way. There's no way we could have done this without having, the problems that we had. I mean, we had this crazy, we got ISIS, in there messing up with the Taliban people. And, the Taliban are our friends now. We gotta negotiate with them because they're the legitimate government. There's just so many things happening, which is crock. Okay. So, I mean, yes and no. ISIS is bad, and the guy went in there with his suicide bomb and blew it up and killed 13 U.S. service members and all those civilians, but I mean, that seems like a lot of, it was like 175 people. Doesn't that seem like a lot for a suicide vest? Don't you think with the Taliban having all those checkpoints, in the one way or the three ways, I guess, to get into that airport, that maybe they would have caught this single, I mean, it really seems, it's a lot of people to be dying from one single suicide vest bomb. That's probably why there are these reports coming out from the hospital there where some of these civilians were taken to because, they were injured, and they all had these bullet wounds, from maybe not from the chest down, but from the chest up. There's like all these people, and they got these like they've been shot, like maybe there were these suicide bombs that went off, and then, I don't know, maybe some U.S. service members just unloaded into the crowd. I don't know. They were in towers, and the reports are kind of saying that they were shot from kind of up above. So, I don't know. Maybe Biden's right. Maybe we should, instead of sending our troops in there, we should use our over-the-horizon capabilities, right? So of course Joe Biden would say, you know what, ISIS? You're going to blow up our people. We're going to kick your butt. So you know what we did in response to ISIS blowing up 13 of our service members and, hundreds of civilians in Afghanistan? We decided that we were going to launch a missile there into Afghanistan and kill, I don't know, some women and children, maybe a whole family. Maybe we, kill an interpreter and, I don't know, an Afghan military person. That seems like a great idea. I mean, we've been doing it forever. Why don't we keep launching these missiles up camels' butts and killing all these people that, we were friends with? I don't know. Maybe that might have caused a certain situation called 9/11 to take place. We're out there just killing innocent people. Maybe they weren't too happy about that, and they said, hey, you know what? If you're going to be launching missiles at us, maybe we're going to hijack some of your planes. Maybe we're going to go to Europe and devise a plan and act like we did it from Afghanistan. Maybe we're going to somehow get into your country, take some sort of flight school inside your country, and then hijack some of your planes and launch them into buildings. Maybe that's what happened. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe we're being lied to. But the hypocrisy of the people in charge, the hypocrisy of the government, the progressives, the left, knows no bounds. So we're going to jump from this topic of Afghanistan out of it. Please, God, let this be the end of it, though we know it won't be, because we're going to continue to be launching missiles and killing civilians, because that is what we're good at. So let's talk about Texas, right? Hashtag Taliban Texas, because that's supposed to be an insult, even though the U.S. government is friends with the Taliban now. They're our buddies. We're going to negotiate with them to get all those people that we left over there. Joe Biden had to pull out on the 31st and leave all those people out in Afghanistan, which, I got a couple questions about, because there's this report about all these kids from some Californian school. Now, they're not on a school trip, but for some reason, all these kids that go to this single school is over in Afghanistan. Why? Why is that? There are so many things wrong with this report that I don't even know where to start. These kids shouldn't be in Afghanistan. Half of the people that are in Afghanistan shouldn't be in Afghanistan. And I don't mean now. I mean never. They should never be in Afghanistan. I don't care if they came from Afghanistan. I don't care if they're like Afghanis and somehow made it to the U.S. on a green card, or because they actually were allowed in when they helped us by being some sort of interpreter or whatever. But why would you go back to that shithole of a place in the middle of hell? Why would you do that? Okay, that's terrible. If you're a citizen in the U.S., stay in the U.S., okay? The rest of the world sucks, all right? I know that the TV is telling you that the U.S. is bad because of slavery and white supremacy and the societal ingrained inequity. No, don't listen to that crap. Those are all lies, like all the other lies. Stay here in America where it's relatively safe. I mean, don't go to Portland, because don't do that. But there are places where it's okay to be. But I'm like on a tangent. Okay, let's get back to Texas, right? So they passed this heartbeat abortion bill. Now, abortion is if there's one political subject that I try not to talk about, it's abortion, because it is a messy topic to be screwing around with. But we're going to talk about it anyway. So the Texas passed this heartbeat abortion bill. Okay. So after 6 weeks in the state of Texas, if you're pregnant after the 6-week mark, you cannot have an abortion, except for the exceptions or whatever. I mean, in some reports, there are exceptions, like rape and incest and something or other. But then in other reports, those exceptions aren't there. But you don't, like, the woman isn't criminally prosecuted, right? And the doctor isn't criminally prosecuted. It's all civil cases. It's really interesting how this bill was written. But the bill really isn't the focus of the subject here. I guess the backlash is the focus, because the left had an entire meltdown. And it's funny that, it's like a hypocrite city it's both sides. I know a lot of people would think I'm coming at this from the right angle, but I'm really kind of looking at it from both sides, because, while I may be against abortion, I'm also a libertarian, so it's kind of a funky area, which is why, I said that the whole topic of abortion was a messy topic. But anyway, so the right will say, you're killing a baby. You're killing a person by having an abortion. Now, the left doesn't see it that way, because they don't see the fetus, the zygote, whatever you want to call it, whatever your scientific technical term, they don't see that as a person. They see it as not a person. So that's where that's where the clash takes place, because the right thinks it's a person, the left doesn't think it's a person. So the right thinks it's murder and the left doesn't. Now, the right will say, hey, you can't infringe upon my rights. You can't infringe upon my personal health and whatnot. You can't have vaccine mandates. You can't have mask mandates, because you can't enforce your beliefs onto me. That's not liberty. That's infringing upon my rights. But you also cannot have a medical procedure that I'm saying you can't have. So, you got your right hypocrite, and then you got your left hypocrite, which will say, you know what? You can't tell me what I'm going to do with my body. And you're also going to be mandated to take this experimental injection. And you're also going to have to wear this thing over your face, even though there's a lot of studies that say that it doesn't really do a whole lot, depending on, which one you're actually wearing. But yeah, so you got your clash. You got your clash right there. And I think it's really stupid, like I said, to be hashtagging Taliban Texas, when, like I said, the American government is friends with the Taliban, and they're going to be sending them a bunch of money. Like, I'm talking lots and lots and lots of money. More money than you can even imagine, okay? More money than you could possibly fill up if you stacked all the bills up in every room in your house. And even if you're homeless, more money than the amount of bills you could stack up to the top of the overpass that you're under. So, okay, I'm talking lots of money. This government gave these terrorists weapons that we can't even get, okay? Military equipment that is not possible for a U.S. citizen to get. Now, it's okay for these radical nutjob terrorist people to get these things, but if a U.S. citizen were to get it, that would be god awful. That would just be terrible. Insane. Completely insane. So, it's a bunch of hypocritical nonsense, liars, to the left of me, and hypocrites to the right, and here I am, stuck in the middle, okay? And it's a constant onslaught of you're a bad guy, and you're a bad guy. I mean, so Jen Psaki's doing another press conference, answering questions. I mean, she's just yelling at people because how dare you question this woman? This woman is the epitome of yeah. And so this journalist, I guess, I don't even know what to call these people anymore. This person asked Jen Psaki how Biden could be a Catholic and also support abortion, and Jen Psaki went on some rant about women's rights and blah, 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 blah. And that's completely insane because she's completely forgetting the fact that men can get pregnant too, alright? They're not women, they're birthing persons. Stop being a bigot, Jen Psaki. What is wrong with you? You ought to be ashamed of yourself. You need to check your white privilege, okay? You need to go to a safe space and think about what you're saying. Just sticks in my craw. It does that thing. So, I mean, I feel like I'm talking in circles here about this, but I think the whole point I'm trying to make here is that I hate sauerkraut, and that's really all I'm trying to say. But really, these people are such liars. I do not know how you guys don't see it. I don't understand how you don't see it. There's this approval rating that was released by Pew Research, whatever, that said that Joe Biden's approval rating has dropped all the way to 43%. 43%. There's still 43 people out there that approve of Joe Biden's job. Really? We are 8 months in. We're not even done a whole year. We got 3 years and 4 months left of this nonsense to go through before we can even hope to get out of this, okay? And now I know what you're saying. You're saying, now wait a second. We got the midterms coming up, okay? And the Democrats are shaking in their boots over the midterms because, I mean, none of this stuff is working. They can't get their infrastructure passed. They can't get their reconciliation passed. They can't get this eviction moratorium under control. They cannot get COVID under control, even though it's looking really promising with the whole 80% of the population at 16 and over, I think is what that thing said. What that article said. It said that 80% of citizens 16 and over show some sort of immunity or antibiotic response or whatever to COVID. So, I mean, that's good, right? Considering that when herd immunity was a thing, they said it was like 70% or whatever, and we're at 80. That's great. I mean, it's kind of scary to see that Israel is, doing their third booster shots, and they're like, infection rate is ridiculous, like 80%. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to do numbers because I don't remember what they are. All I know is that they're getting booster shots in Israel, and they're still going to the hospital with COVID. That's all. Now, I'm not trying to diss like vaccines or anything. I'm just saying that's what's happening. Okay, the people need to stop being political about this. All we need are facts. Now you can take a political slant either way of this, but just this is happening. Okay, that's happening. Israel's not having such a great time with this. Now, like some of those Nordic countries like Sweden and whatnot, they're actually not doing too bad. They're kind of, kids are still going to school, and they're not doing the lockdown thing, and their infection rate isn't that bad. It's not like over here where, we have these areas where things are red, there's short beds, there's short nurses because, I mean, if it wasn't bad enough, how about we make some nurses quit with some mandates? That'll take care of some problems. So, I mean, yeah, we're definitely not as bad as Australia out there doing their facial recognition nonsense, especially considering that I just heard Tim Pool mention, why don't you just like kind of use an app to change your geolocation? That's stupid. They can't tell where you're at. So I don't know. That's beyond me. I'm not an app person. But kind of lost my train of thought where I was going with that. But yeah, so that it's the COVID thing is still going on. All right. The jobs thing for August came out, and it showed that instead of doing, God, I can't even remember these numbers. Instead of doing, 75 whatever, they only did 25 or something like that. Those aren't the right numbers, but it's a ratio I'm looking at. Instead of being like 3/4, it's only a quarter. So, I mean, the jobs thing, and they're gonna, Biden's out there saying this is the best jobs thing in the world, and it's not. It's not as bad. There's like 10 million something or other job openings. Like I said, I don't remember the numbers. I didn't write them down here, and of course, if I did, I'd probably screwing up just like Biden does. But they're not good. Things are not good. Okay, there's all these planned strikes. There's these planned strikes coming this week for Labor Day because of the mandates, whether it be mask or vaccine. So between the economy, COVID, Afghanistan, the border, can't forget the border because that's all jacked up. They're having this big argument, whether all those refugees that they took out of there, 120 or 130, 100 something thousand people, not including the only 5,000 or 6,000 or 6,500 U.S. citizens or whatever. We're talking 100 and something thousand refugees they want to bring over here. Now, it's not like they vetted these people. Why would you vet these people? If you vetted these people, there's no way you could have pulled that many people out of Afghanistan that fast. So, I mean, of course they aren't vetted. And they're not necessarily vaccinated. So, and it's not like we're not launching missiles into the country. Maybe they still know some people living there. Maybe we shouldn't do that. I don't know. But, yeah, so there's an argument as to whether those people should be brought here or not. I don't know. That's kind of, vet these people. Make sure they're not, rapists, murderers, members of the Taliban or ISIS or Al-Qaeda. And maybe, bring them here. I mean, these people, can learn how to do something. These people can learn a trade. They're not any different than anybody else. They could come here and make this country a better place. That whole integration of culture from different areas and bring different ideas and different thoughts, and maybe we could improve on what we have. We don't have to be like isolationists, but I mean, you don't want to be educating more terrorists, be sending planes in the buildings and stuff. Not that I'm saying these people's terrorists. I'm just saying, I don't know, launching missiles at civilians. It's possible that they could become terrorists. I know there's a lot of stories that some of these service members have about how their interpreters were like these awesome people and they were friends with them for 2 years or however long, and then all of a sudden they just turn and start shooting at them. So I don't know about all that. I'm just saying that it's a discussion we could have, right? It is a discussion. I'm not saying don't bring them, and I'm saying bring them. I'm saying discussion, right? So we're going to quickly jump from that into the last story I want to talk about, which is this Antifa guy, this Antifa teacher. I mean, I want to call him an Antifa guy, even though I have a friend that tells me that Antifa is not a thing. It's just an idea. Even though this guy comes out and says he's a member of Antifa, and he belongs to an Antifa group in his area that he meets with. So this Antifa guy comes out. Well, he doesn't come out. He doesn't come out. This Antifa guy is secretly minding his own business. And Project Veritas does what Project Veritas does.
I like what you said in our phone call. I feel like I have 180 days, right?
Yeah. I have 180 days to turn them into revolutionaries.
And that's the question.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them are indifferent. I think they're distracted by the gadgets and video games. How do you do that? How do you
scare the fuck out of them?
Yeah.
Meet Gabrielle Guyt. He's a public school teacher paid for by taxpayer dollars at Intercom High School in Sacramento, California. Guyt, who teaches advanced placement government classes, is not shy about his involvement in Antifa's local chapter. He even has an Antifa flag and a poster of Mao Zedong in his classroom.
So, it's like my wife and I have been political organizers. I've been organizing since I was 13.
Wow.
And I've been in a ton of different organizations, and I've been on the front lines, and I've taken a step back and gone back and forth, and my wife is the same way.
Is there a local Antifa or chapter?
Yes, yeah. The Sacramento organization that is under the banner of Antifa is very loosely organized, right? And like we have no official like member list, right?
Yeah.
So like when there is like right wing rallies and stuff, then we'll create an opposition to that. Yeah.
Man, I'm glad Antifa is not a thing. I'm glad it's just an idea, because if it were a thing, I might be a little bit worried. But I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not worried at all. It's okay to radicalize little kids. They're so not impressionable. They're so not little sponges that just soak up whatever information you kind of are in there. Little brains that you massage. This guy's saying he's gonna scare the shit out of these kids, and that's how he's gonna get them. That's how he's gonna get them. So, my thing is, this teacher doesn't need to be fired. I mean, they say he's going to. They say they're gonna fire him, or that they did fire him. I don't know, because I mean, after you get to we're gonna fire him, then it's kind of pushed out of the way. You will move on to the next crisis, because that's what we do. We just jump from crisis to crisis. But I mean, if you have questions about Antifa, you go out and you buy this week's book recommendation, Unmasked. I've recommended before, by Andy No, who wrote this little book about Antifa, this crazy idea. I mean, Antifa's not a group or anything. It's just some idea, right? They don't have a flag or nothing. So yeah, that's gonna be the podcast. Please have a nice and awesome Labor Day weekend. I hope that if you are an actual laborer, like somebody that does physical labor for employment, that you actually get to take a day off work, because I know that I had lots of jobs where on Labor Day was the day that we got to do sales. And so, yeah, I hope that you have a nice weekend, and God bless. Cheers. Godspeed.